were all three suspects involved in the hazing death of Caleb Wilson, a 20-year-old Southern University student, have been taken into custody. Isaiah Smith turned himself in late Tuesday. He is a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity and attends Southern University. Reports indicate that his father owns the warehouse where the alleged fatal hazing took place. U.S. Marshals arrested 25-year-old Kyle Thurman on Monday. He is expected to be transferred to East Baton Rouge Parish Prison and charged with felony hazing. Caleb McCray was released on bail on Friday night after being charged with hazing and manslaughter. Caleb Wilson died 2 weeks ago after sustaining a blow to the chest while fraternity members were punching pledges with boxing gloves. And so no further information is available, but also Southern University announced that they are ending any and all pledge processes taking place on their campus, at least for this summer, and it could actually last longer. Our panel is comprised of two alphas and an AKA, and certainly want to get your thoughts on the sheer madness that's happening there at Southern University. Larry, I'll start with you. I saw this one interview where someone said that, well, if these pledge processes, if they can't be regulated, they should be banned from college campuses. Rachel Lindsay made that comment. She's a member of Delta Sigma Theta. Look, I mean, fraternities and sororities have done all they could in the risk management, requiring people to go through various things. So the question is, if you have a process, how do you do it? What do you mandate? Do you mandate, adults be there, adults who have been cleared by the fraternity? That's also could be very time consuming. So just what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, Roland, and obviously this hits very close to home for all of us. And like you, I was made undergraduate, so it's a really complicated issue. And one of our frat brothers, brother Dr. Parks, writes a lot about this issue relating to hazing at the undergraduate level. And so, in order to be involved in the intake process, particularly in our fraternity, obviously you have to have you have to be trained and certified. But this is a problem that's been going on for decades. And we have the unfortunate death of this young man. And my heart is someone, as a son who is similar age, it breaks my heart. And we have to do a better job in terms of how we create, an intake process. And obviously, people involved in illegal hazing causes a problem because this is not the only death we've seen here. It happens far too often. We should also note it also happens in white fraternities also. So this is an issue in higher education that we have to really address. But specific to, like I said, the Divine Nine organizations, our organizations have taken steps. But the concern I have, Roland, is that eventually, as it relates to the insurance that each of our organizations has to pay, that eventually one of our organizations is going to go under because of a lawsuit. And considering the long, distinct history of our organizations, all of them at least 100 years old, we would want to see that. So we have to continue to make sure we refine this process and also make it very clear to undergraduate and graduate individuals, brothers or sisters, that you have to follow this very specific intake process and that we can't have events like this happen when we use a young, bright mind and then the impact it has on his family for the rest of their lives, losing someone like this in this tragic way. And then the lives of the young men who were involved in the hazing incident, who are undoubtedly going to serve a number of years in prison. But we have to continue to refine this process so we don't see these kind of tragedies.
Randy, you're an AK. You went to Tuskegee, and I've been very clear. You got to be. It's really a shame that a mother and father, their son lives through the difficult streets of New Orleans, goes to an HBCU, is being returned home in a body bag.
It is absolutely heartbreaking. As a mother of, two sons who, one just graduated and one's still in college, my heart definitely breaks for that mother and father, his friends and family. We cannot allow 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-olds to be in charge of a process by themselves. And I know that all the Divine Nine have gone through a lot of work to ensure that we do better. We really, and we must own that. But at the same time, clearly, some things are falling through the cracks, and we can't allow this to happen. We have to change it. And I have heard a lot of people say, oh, yes, these deaths do occur also in white fraternities, particularly with alcohol overconsumption. But, that doesn't make it right to me. I mean, we have to worry about what's happening in our own house and protecting our own children. I remember, my son's father is he's a Kappa and was very active, a Pole Mark, Dean of Pledges. But when his kids were in school, he really went back and forth if he wanted them to participate in the process because of things like this. And there's a fear, and there should not be a fear with something so honorable. So I believe that we all agree that something needs to change, and that these students and the people who are leading this process need to be monitored very carefully. It's interesting, we put curfew on students sometimes when things go wrong, but, maybe there has to be a curfew. I don't know the answer, but we've got to get together, find some answers so another tragedy does not occur, another life is not lost.
Mustafa.
I mean, there's so much to unpack there. There's all the legal stuff, the impacts that can happen if you're, allowing this to happen in your house or on your property or another place that you might own. You have responsibility in that space. But that's not what I want to focus on, because I think I do know one of the things that's missing, and that's love in the Black community. We call ourselves brothers or sisters for our individuals who are coming into our organization. Brothers and sisters don't beat each other, right? You don't brutalize each other. We have still got to break those chains of slavery that has found its way inside of processes, right? Because, the brutalization of Black folks has been going on for a long time inside of our country. And then when we begin to embrace that, or when some folks embrace that as a way of having a rite of passage, that says something about the lack of evolution inside of our community and the lack of love that exists. Because if you love me, you're not going to put your hands on me. There are ways for you to learn information without that type of behavior being a part of any process, right? Whether it is in the Divine Nine, or it's in these military schools, or a number of other places that have these processes of breaking folks down and building them up. Breaking folks down it should never even be a part of the process. It is about enhancing the things that will be necessary for you to navigate life inside of this country and for you to be able to give back to your community in a positive way. So for me, it is about finding ways when kids are young of helping them to honor themselves and their bodies, and to make sure that we also understand that we've got to find ways of infusing more love into our community and refusing to allow anyone to extract that from us. So there are a number of other things, of course, that the organizations can do. But we got to get back to the basics, right? These fundamental things that help us to understand our self-wealth, and never allow anyone to take that from you.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. And right now we're accepting investors in our $17 million round to revolutionize the future of social media. Today, for just $399, you can own 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $6.65 a share. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. While the big platforms have grown too massive and disconnected from their users, Fanbase is building a platform where creators and users truly come first. We've already raised $8.6 million from everyday investors who believe in this vision, and now you can join them. This is your chance to invest in a social media tech company with over 1 million users that is disrupting media by allowing anyone to reach all of their following and monetize their content from day one. The market is changing, big platforms are failing to serve their users, and Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now. Invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the future of social media.